This now is one of our all-time favorites. He is the BYU basketball radio analyst on the men's side. He is a former Cougar hoopster. Mark Durrant back on the program, looking fabulous in that royal blue. Mark, thanks for hanging out with us.
It's always great, and man, what a joy it is to be on with Kristen. I would certainly admire her and think she is absolutely fantastic at what she does, especially the color commentary. It's a little bit depressing to watch her because I realize I'm really bad at this. But
you are not.
Awesome.
I'm trying to follow your lead, Mark.
Oh man, you followed, and then you're way ahead now. You're like Secretariat, way ahead of me. I'm one of those other horses trying to catch up.
Oh, the humble Mark Durrant. But you're right. Kristen's amazing. And speaking of girl power and just women that accomplish things in sports, I want to talk about your daughter, Stratton, because she has accomplished some awesome things on the golf circuit in Utah, specifically at the Glenmore Golf Course. How much of what she's accomplished, winning tournaments and, improving her game, is because of what you have helped her do, Mark, in teaching her about one of the greatest games ever invented?
Oh, Spencer, I'm glad you brought it up because of all the sports things I've done and seen, being her coach and her caddy has been the most gratifying thing I've ever done. It is so fun. You can't imagine how fun it is being on the golf course with her, watching her do her thing. She succeeds in spite of me. She's just very talented. But I tell you, these young girls that I watch are just so incredibly talented. I mean, it would just blow your mind how they hit the ball and how they manage the course and perform under pressure. I mean, these are 12, 13, 14-year-old girls just playing incredible golf.
Wow.
It's just super, super fun. And listen, I just couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of her, see her progress, and she's terrific. But, man, there's some really, really talented, wonderful young women playing golf in this state and all over the country. It is awesome to see.
Seriously, we got to get Stratton after her tournament win at the Glenmore Parent Junior Invitational.
He carried me.
Okay.
He carried me, man. Her shoulders were sore after that, man.
Bring her on.
Yeah. Well, we know Carrie Roberts pretty well, so we got to get Stratton onto Carrie's radar early here. Let's get this thing going, man.
Listen, Carrie, come on. Start sending the letters. It's never too early.
It's not nowadays, right? It's so much pressure, like you mentioned, with these young players. But, Mark, as we shift to the men's basketball team and looking at their program, I want to ask you, if you were in your prime right now for Coach Mark Pope, what role would you play? What would you be contributing to this basketball team if you were back in your prime?
Listen, Kristen, even in my prime, my role would be getting guys water at timeout. I mean, you need some water, Rudy. You need some water, Trev. I mean, and waving my towel because these guys are so good nowadays. I mean, as good as I thought we were and as good as we were, they're just better today. And it's a new mindset and the way they train and play in AAU and get experience. They're super athletic and nutrition, all those things. And but I don't compare decades to decades. I mean, it's all about how you compare against other teams now, right? That's the real question for BYU is how you compare. But you need, listen, I was incredibly average, but you need guys like me that will go out and do some dirty work for you, like Spencer Johnson and play defense and
sure,
get some steals and get some rebounds and those kind of guys. But you also need superstars. And I think BYU can have a good mix of that on this year's team. And I think that's the key, to have all those types of guys coming together. And that's the real question, right, Kristen, is you've got a lot of new guys and they're clearly talented. Can they come together and play well as a team and become better than their individual parts and be that team that can really excel and do the things you're dreaming about doing?
Mark Durrant is on BYU Sports Nation. And, Mark, we're already down the path to answering my next question a little bit. But with the recent addition of Noah Waterman, 6'11", stretch 4, 1 point, was shooting 53% from the three-point line. And those numbers dipped last year, but he was dealing with some injuries. Now Mark Pope brings him in as we think the final scholarship player. So with those 13 scholarships in place, what do you like most about the current BYU basketball team?
Well, I like that they brought in a lot of shooters. I mean, I think for BYU to really excel at a high level with with what they can bring to the table, they need to be one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. And that's what they were a couple of years ago. And that's what they were when I thought they could really make a run in the tournament. Of course, it got canceled. But I think if BYU can be one of the best shooters, that's the great equalizer in college basketball, that three-point shot. If you've got shooters and can hit the three, you can be in games. You can win games against really good teams. And I think you talked about Noah Waterman. And that was – BYU was not a particularly good three-point shooting team last year. I mean, you had good shooters. You had Alex, obviously, terrific shooter, and Trevin, and, Gideon, those guys. But overall, I don't think they were as good as they needed to be or could have been last year. And part of that was because you had Foose, who's not a shooter, and Atiki. They were forced to play a lot of minutes. Defenses could then extend out on the three-point shooters because the spacing was made it easier for defense to guard the three. So it was tough. And I think a guy like Noah Waterman, it's just the way it is in college basketball. You have to have a guy at the four that can extend the defense and can shoot, really. I mean, it used to be I would watch growing up, and it used to bug me when 6'11" guys would shoot the three. I'm like, you're 6'11". Go post up. That's what your job is. But that's not the way it is anymore. You've got 6'11" guys that are real threats from the three. That's going to stretch the floor for everybody. Even Foose down low is going to free him up. And it's going to make a big difference. Then you throw in a bunch of other guys and return missionaries who are real shooters, Dallin, Richie, Tanner, all those guys. And like I talked about Trevin, and I think Spencer. Trevin and Spencer, I think, when you got superstars, you kind of relegate yourself a bit to a secondary role, right? But then when those guys are gone, you become the guy.
Yeah.
It's almost like a mantle shifts to you. And this is a great chance for Gideon, Trevin, Spencer to have the mantle come to them. It's their team now. It's their opportunity. And it changes your mindset, right? It changes your confidence. And you can become a different player. And I hope to see that from those guys because, it's wide open for them. Let's see what you've got. And it changes you as a player. And so I'm excited to see how it all comes together. But a long-winded answer to your question, though, I think the real opportunity for this team is there'll be a better three-point shooting team. They'll be able to spread the floor, and that will help everybody.
Now, is this a team that narrowly missed the NCAA tournament last year? Is this a team that can get back to the NCAA tournament with all those transitioning roster players coming in, transfers? With the group right now, do you see them getting to the NCAA tournament this next season?
I think so. Yeah, I'll say that. A couple months ago, you're like, what is happening? What's going to go? Are we going to have enough guys to play? And then Coach Pope does his thing. I mean, he's so good at what he does, and they hit the transfer stuff really hard. And then you got these young return missionaries who were just tremendous. And there's always a question mark in all of these guys, transfers or missionaries coming back. When they get on the floor, what's it going to be? And they're, all these guys are freshmen, younger. So you just never know how it's going to translate to being on the Marriott Center floor with all those fans playing against Division I competition. But in looking at the list of players and who they've got coming back, I think Foose is going to just be amazing. I think Gideon could be a guy that really has an amazing year.
Yes, I hope it is.
Yeah. I mean, I go back to Keena Young, and I talk about that mantle. Keena was very good. And I mentioned Keena because he was a smaller guy, but he could score in the paint. I think Gideon is a guy that if that mantle goes to him and he knows this is my team, I can do my thing and get confidence, he could be just amazing. So anyway, I mean, you got a really good core. Trevin, Spencer, I mentioned. You got a good guard coming in with Rudy. I mean, you got a really nice core. And then it's just how many of those other guys can step up at this level and play well. But the great thing is, they're going to have an opportunity. They can play. Everybody will have a chance to prove themselves and play. When I was a freshman coming in, we lost Mike Smith. We were picked to finish last in the conference. But there was a lot of openings. And guys like Andy Toulson, whose son, you mentioned Tanner, Marty Haas, it became their team, and they were just amazing. And then role players like me came in, and we finished at the top of the conference and went to the tournament. I mean, it's just about how everybody comes together, gets their confidence, and comes together and plays as a team. But clearly, to me, this NCAA tournament.
Certainly. Mark Durant is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Mark, let's finish with this. And I just put out my prospective starting five if we were to see a BYU men's basketball game on July 1st. Obviously, Rudy Williams is the clear point guard. He is what I hope is the leader role and can be an alpha of sorts. I think he'll be joined by Spencer Johnson because of his perimeter defense and his knowledge of what Mark Pope wants to do on both ends of the floor. Gideon George, who you just mentioned, we hope takes a large step forward and really kind of assumes a greater role. Throwing Noah Waterman as your stretch 4, and then Fousseyni Traore down at the 5. Would you make any changes to that prospective starting 5 if BYU were to play a game tomorrow? If so, where would you make those changes?
Yeah, I think that's right. I certainly think Rudy, he's got the experience in the right places too, right? He's not going to play anybody that is going to be better than the guys that he's played against in Jackson the same way. They've been played against top talent. And so, yeah, Rudy, I think Spencer, and Gideon, and then you're going to rotate in Trevin and Jackson in that 5. I think that 5 is pretty good. I guess my big question with that starting 5 would be Noah, just because I haven't seen much of him, and he's been injured. And so maybe you're thinking you play a Tiki, but then you kind of get back to the problem I was talking about earlier, where you're not spreading the.
And Mark is cut out for just a moment.
Lost
He's
him.
talking through that starting 5. Okay, so we'll see if we get Mark back in just a moment. But he's right. The biggest question mark there is okay, what do you do when you're rotating in bigs?
Yeah,
because he hasn't. He's right. We haven't seen Noah Waterman. We're all kind of assuming
We've
he's going to
heard,
be
right?
an excellent 3-point shooter. It makes sense to push him as a stretch 4, but you've got a Tiki in there. But after Foose, a Tiki, and Noah Waterman. Where do you go for a size? Do you have Jackson Robinson play a little bit of the 4 because he's a little bit bigger and longer?
Yeah. He's a perimeter player, though.
He's a perimeter player.
I've watched Jackson enough. He wants to play on the wing. And so you get into foul trouble or players get hurt. Look what happened this last year. Your 2 bigs get hurt. There can be a big question mark there for sure in that post, that 4-5 spot.
And just maybe there's a walk-on player that does help fill some of that size.
Absolutely. They still have to fill those walk-on roles. So
sure.
Yes.
Okay, so we just been told we just lost Mark. It's okay. He was amazing at the very end. The very end of his last response. Yes, we love Mark Durant, and seriously, congratulations to his daughter Stratton on winning that tournament. What a cool thing to watch your kids succeed. And Kristen, I know you know about that too, right?
Yeah, it doesn't even compare to what you did. When your kids are succeeding, it's a whole different ballgame.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's awesome. So congrats to her.
All right.